What's up, everyone? Guess where we are? Where are we, James?
Philadelphia, heading to PAX Unplugged.
Yeah, we are on our way to PAX Unplugged. I'm shooting this on my phone. No idea how this is gonna turn out. But I got my real camera in the bag for some more footage later. Really excited. And yeah, hopefully we get to see some cool games today. All right, see you later. We'll check in a little bit. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
It's been a long day here at PAX Unplugged, and we're just kind of finishing up, but we wanted to get a little synopsis of the end of the day.
Just played some Valiant Wars, tried that game out.
Yep, and we picked up a bunch of games. We'll probably report back to you what games we picked up when we get back to LA. But I just wanted to get a quick shot of the whole gaming area right now. The whole...
It's huge.
Yeah, it's bigger than I've ever seen it. There's a ton of people playing board games all at the same time, which is pretty awesome. So let me get a quick shot real quick over our heads. That's what it looks like. And yeah, any final thoughts for the day, James?
No, it's been a great day. It's long. It's late. We got one more game to go and then call it a night.
Yeah, we're playing games basically till midnight. It's pretty sweet. So, yeah, we will report back once we're back in LA with our full synopsis of what we thought of PAX Unplugged 2021. And, yeah, we'll see you when we get back. Tricktakers out. Hey, what's up, gamers? I'm Bianca.
And I'm James.
And what you just saw at the beginning of this video is our footage from PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia, which we just returned from.
Yeah, Philadelphia is where we first fell in love with board games, and PAX Unplugged was a big part of that.
Yeah, we first went to PAX probably about 5 years ago when they first started having the convention. And that's kind of what started it all for me, at least, with board games. And honestly, I think the convention has just gotten better every year since then. We haven't missed one, so I feel like we're fair judges of, you know, seeing how PAX has been from year to year.
Yeah, PAX is mainly known as a video game convention, but ever since they launched this thing and right in our hometown of Philly, we couldn't miss it.
Yeah, so in this video, we're going to talk about kind of a comparison. How did this year compare to previous years? How have things gotten better? What's improved? We're going to talk about our haul. We kind of brought all this stuff back on the plane and it all survived. And we're going to talk about some other things that we got from PAX, some merch and things like that. And we'll just give our overall final thoughts of the convention and, you know, just what we're looking forward to in the future.
Yeah, so let's get started.
One of the first things I noticed about PAX Unplugged this year is there was a massive gameplay area, like bigger than ever before. There was just so many tables and they had their usual library set up and everything, but it was just incredible to see how many people were playing games at the same time in this huge convention center.
Yeah, there was less room in the actual booths for playtesting games compared to previous years, but you know, otherwise they had all these tables that you could go to, and there were a lot of people teaching the games, and it was more of a free play section that allowed you to play some of those up and coming games. So it's kind of nice in some respects. You know, you might have seen a cool booth and you couldn't play test the game there, but you know, they would point you to the table where maybe their games were hosted at.
Yeah, there really wasn't that much play testing at the booths in the expo hall. It was more so just, you know, where you would go to buy a game or maybe have a demo or something. But they did have this first look section in the gaming area, and that was basically where you could see and try all of the new games that were at the convention this year. So most of them were brand new, just recently published, and every table had someone there that could teach you how to play the game. And we actually ended up playing this game called Canopy. So that was a beautiful game. It's very similar, the mechanisms in the game are very similar to Sushi Go, so it's kind of a lighter game, but it was really cool and the artwork is amazing. So, you know, if you see Canopy out there and you're looking for a light card game, go for it.
Yeah, we did get to play a couple games at Boost. We played Flourish and Panorama. Those are both fun games. Pretty light games, but good, you know, filler games to get you going.
Yeah, I think Panorama is one of the games at the convention that was launched at the convention. So this is a brand new game. No one has even bought this game yet because it was just announced and launched at the convention. So that was really exciting to try a game that was literally like fresh off the presses and ready to go. And that's a really cool one. We didn't end up picking that one up, but you know, it's worth giving a try for sure.
They had a completely separate room for unpublished games. So instead of maybe a brand new game having to compete against, you know, one of these publishers, they got their own room for playtesting, for feedback on the games. We played this really cool like Alchemist library game. Got to talk to the designer and give some feedback. So yeah, you know, you're not competing against the big guys. You get to kind of show your own game and get started.
Yeah, it's kind of like everyone knows what to expect when they go in that room because it's called the unpublished room. So every game in there is still a work in progress and all the creators are looking for feedback that they can use to improve the game experience as they design it. So that's something James is really, really into. He loves game design. That comes from his engineering background. So he really enjoyed that. I'm a little less of a fan of playing unfinished games. I mean, I just like a pretty game that looks polished and complete. And I know that's not really the case when you have a prototype in front of you. So, I mean, sometimes it is, but...
They got to get started somewhere. And,
yes.
Maybe your feedback will, you know, get in the game. So it's a pretty cool area. There are a lot of games being tested there. A lot of players who were open to trying new games. So I thought that was really cool, the room they had set up for that.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of on a rotation. Like they had a schedule of different people coming in and out, like to test their games out. So, you know, you could go in the morning and there'd be a whole different group of people that are in there later in the day. So that was really cool. And yeah, it was kind of a crazy convention though, because we only got one-day passes and there's just so much to see and it's so overwhelming that we didn't eat until like 5 o'clock at night. It was kind of nuts.
Yeah, we didn't want to miss a second of the expo hall, so we just kind of ran through it, hung out with some friends who were there as well, and basically once the expo hall closed is when we finally decided to eat.
Yeah, and then, you know, we went back down and played some games until midnight, so it was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about the next section of our review because this is where we're going to talk about all of the games that we picked up at PAX Unplugged this year.
Yeah, so let's get started. The first one we have is Atlantis Rising by Elf Creek Games. We saw this early on in the morning and you know, went through the rest of the booths, but then just ended up having to come back to it and pick it up because it's just got such a great table presence. It's a beautiful game, but it's a cooperative worker placement dice rolling game. So it's got a lot going on, but yeah, we can't wait to bring that to the table.
And the theme of it is really cool because you're trying to escape this island and save people before it sinks.
Yeah, you're trying to escape Atlantis before it sinks. So you're a counselor who's trying to save your people. Pretty cool theme, and yeah, just a great looking game.
Yeah, and we love cooperative games too, so. The next game in our haul that we're going to talk about is this one right here. It's called Now Boarding, published by Fowers Games. And this is one that we actually played at the end of PAX when the expo hall had already closed. So we actually ordered this immediately as soon as we played it because I just fell in love with it. It's really fun. It's basically a cooperative game, another cooperative game, of course. And it has a map of the US and you're trying to fly passengers to their destinations, and everyone's working together, so everyone has different routes. Like my route was the West Coast primarily, and then, you know, James had a route more on the east side that kind of went into like the middle of the country, and then our other friends had different routes in other areas, and we all had to plan how to get these passengers to different cities. So, you know, I might have to take somebody from Seattle to Denver, and then my friend had to like meet me in Denver and then take that passenger to Miami or wherever their destination was. And
if you don't pick them up in time, then they can file a complaint against you and get enough complaints, and I guess the whole operation shuts down.
Yeah, the longer your passenger is sitting in the airport, the more angry they get. And then if they get angry enough, they file a complaint, and then if you get enough complaints, you lose the game. And basically, you win the game if you get all the passengers to where they're trying to go. And we just had a blast playing this. It was very immersive. I felt like it was, you know, cooperative in a way where nobody was really quarterbacking or trying to take over and tell anyone else what to do. We were all just collaborating, and that was the funnest part of it. This is actually a game from 2018. So it's not brand new, but it's new to us, and we were really excited to try this out and pick it up.
So up next, we have Valiant Wars. This is a game I kind of picked up on a whim after one of our friends had picked it up. Super kind of cute game. All the cards are pretty, and basically in the game, you keep playing cards from your hand until you either decide to stop or you hit these Dark Omen cards. There's a few Dark Omens in your deck, and if at any point you ever hit 2, then you're out for the round. And if you're out, you can't buy new cards to put into your deck, you can't fight over the locations that give you victory points, and so it's really a push your luck. As soon as you see that first Dark Omen, you have to decide, do I keep going to get more money, to get more swords, or do I stop and just guarantee that I don't kind of whammy out for the round?
Yeah, it definitely feels a little bit like gambling, because you're basically drawing these cards blind. Like, you don't know what order they're in, you're just kind of playing them and hoping that you get lucky. The first time we played, I feel like I did really well. I still didn't win, but I did. Everyone was, you know, like out of the round several times except me, but then at the very end of the game I started getting a lot of Dark Omens all the time. So it's just kind of like you shuffle the cards, you put them out, and then whatever you get, you get. So it's a very simple game. It's light, it's easy to learn. We played it with James's parents, and his dad actually won, and he's probably the least experienced gamer out of the 4 of us. So it just goes to show how easy this game is to jump into, even if you're not experienced.
Yeah, it's a super light game, but we definitely recommend it as a filler game.
Yeah, also it's a brand new game that was just published this year, so I was really excited about that too.
Yeah, SMG, check them out.
Speaking of brand new games that just came out this past year, Lost Ruins of Arnak, the expansion. This has not even been released yet, but they had it at PAX Unplugged, so I was sure to pick it up, and I'm super stoked about it. It's basically a really cool expansion that gives you some new asymmetrical characters, so it kind of adds a new mechanism to the game. It also adds a new research track. Yeah, so it's just like a board that you lay on top of the game where the research track is. So it also gives you new assistants, and a few new cards, so I'm really excited about it. And yeah, this one's by CGE.
Yeah, this was one of our favorite games that we played this past year, and so having the expansion is super cool. Czech Games had their own kind of room at PAX Unplugged, so there are a ton of people playing Galaxy Truckers, which seem to have a good following, and then they had a ton of copies of this, so we're glad we could get our hands on it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be available in stores within the next few months, but I'm really excited to have it early.
All right, so lastly, we have Everdell Pearlbrook. So Everdell is another game that we picked up this past year. It's been around for a while, but it was an awesome game to kind of pick up and get into. And so when we went to PAX Unplugged, we saw they had, I think, 3 separate expansions for it. And this was the one that was recommended to us the most. It adds kind of this side platform to the game and this whole Pearl kind of resource and worker placement locations. So yeah, just adds a little bit more to the base Everdell game and gives us more to jump into.
I think they even added a few new characters too, so that's really cool. And Everdell's another game that we're just obsessed with. We played it a lot in the past few months.
Yeah, and it's cool that it kind of just hooks on to the original game board. I think all the expansions kind of did. There was one that makes it 5 to 6 players, and another that adds kind of this like track that you're going on. But I think, you know, they're all pretty cool. I'm sure it'll have a great table presence once we can get it out.
Yep, so that's it for the games, and now we will move on to all of the other merch and kind of fun stuff that we bought at PAX. So we didn't just get board games at PAX Unplugged, we also got some merch, which is all on the table in front of the games here. And one of the things we picked up, which I'm really excited about, was a board game bag that PAX was selling. And this isn't your typical board game bag that's like got all the padding and big, you know, it has like the big boxy structure to it. It's collapsible, which is perfect because traveling on an airplane, you know, you need something that's going to be packable in your suitcase. So this was great. We actually got it and we used it and we put all these games in the bag, carried it around all over the city, through the airport, took it through security, and it was perfect. And it fit in the overhead compartment of the plane too, so.
Yeah, it started with an empty bag and by the end of the day it was full. So. Yeah,
so that's over here. It's the purple little PAX thing right there. That's what it looks like collapsed, but it opens up and I'll get a shot of that so you guys can see what it looks like.
Yeah, we'll definitely bring that to other conventions too. It's a great idea. Sure.
So, and then the next thing we got was...
So the next one, I actually got called out because I was wearing my Thirsty Dice shirt, which is a board game cafe in Philadelphia that we love going to. And they had their own booth. And so, because I was wearing one of their shirts, they pulled me over. We got to kind of test our luck and won some free dice.
Yeah, so those are on the table. That's the orange dice set right there.
Yeah.
And they also gave us 2 free passes to, you know, go play games in their library. Unfortunately, they expire in the spring, so we gifted them to some friends who are going to use them. But yeah, it was still super awesome. And we used to live right around the corner from this board game cafe, so we definitely love going back there whenever we have a chance to.
Yeah, that was one of our holiday gift ideas, so definitely see if your kind of local area has a board game cafe. We definitely recommend going to them.
Before we even went to the convention, I was already looking on the PAX Unplugged website to see what merch they would have because I really wanted to get a new gaming t-shirt of some kind. So as soon as we got there, that was one of the first things we picked up were these t-shirts. And I love this one. It's got like flowers and like a colorful design, and the whole theme this year was Camp PAX.
Camp PAX, yeah.
So everything was kind of outdoorsy, but not. We got a really cool pin because when you spend a certain amount of money, they throw in like a little bonus thing. So we got this really cool pin that says the great indoors, because when you're board gaming, you're usually inside.
Yeah.
And they also gave us like a patch, which is up there next to the bag. And that was another cool giveaway that they had. But
yeah. And I also picked up a lanyard too. So I got this cool little PAX lanyard up there that was a little better than the default one they gave you.
And lastly, one of the other things that I picked up were some earrings. There was a vendor there called Drakiden Design, and she makes these earrings that have little meeples, and she had all different colors, and they also had dice earrings. So I got a pair of each. I got them in teal because that's my favorite color. So,
yeah.
But she had all sorts of colors, like red, pink, orange, yellow, whatever color you wanted was basically there. And she has an Etsy page. She also has a website. I will put the link below, so if you want to check that out. And yeah, it makes a good gift idea too. So if you know, have a gamer friend that has their ears pierced, earrings.
Yeah, board game jewelry. Who'd have known?
Overall, I would say that PAX Unplugged 2021 was a huge success. We had an awesome time. Yeah. And, you know, it was a little bit weird at first because, you know, going to such a huge event post-COVID is a little nerve-wracking. But overall, I think we felt pretty safe.
Yeah.
They checked for vaccination status, and they also had, you know, a mask mandate inside the convention center, and everyone was pretty much obeying it. So, You know, it felt like everyone was just there to have a good time and play games, and, you know, it was just awesome. And every year we go to PAX, it just gets bigger and better, and I just want to keep going. It gives us a great excuse to go back to Philly.
Yeah, to go back to Philly, and we caught up with a lot of friends of ours that we haven't seen in a while who are into board games. You know, just got to walk around all the booths, all the new games coming out, all the unpublished games coming out. Like, it's just a great experience. You get there's a free play area kind of at the end of the day. So after all the expo hall is closed, you still basically just play all the new games that you bought during the day at night. Like, we stayed till midnight, so we had a great time.
And it's really cool because not only did we get to, you know, hang out with people that we already know, but I also got to meet some people from another YouTube channel. And that's always fun to kind of connect with other content creators out there. So I'm just looking forward to more conventions, honestly, because I feel like one day at PAX Unplugged just wasn't enough, and I just need to get my fix.
Yeah, maybe next year we'll do the 3-day weekend.
Yeah, and of course, like, maybe we'll go to our first Gen Con.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that too. So thanks for watching. We really hope that you enjoyed this review of PAX Unplugged 2021.
Yeah.
And hopefully you get a chance to go yourself if it's something that you're interested in doing, because we highly recommend it to anyone who wants to go and just experience, you know, being in this huge convention center filled with people that have the same interest as you.
Were you at PAX Unplugged? What was the highlight for you at the convention? Let us know in the comments.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified when our next video drops. We'll see you next time. Trick Takers out.